Hi everyone, welcome back. I think it's been about a month maybe since I've done, or actually no, it's been about 2 months I think since I've done a video. I last did a sketchbook tour I think the start of February, so I went through everything I'd done the start of the year until then. So I thought I'd hop back on and maybe do another sketchbook tour and see what I've done since. What have I done? I mean, I feel like whatever I did a few weeks ago just feels like it was like a year or two ago since I've painted it. I feel like there's just so much on all the time, not even just art-wise, just a lot of things. Just want to take us through this again, still working in my A5 Winsor Newton watercolour journal. So I'll take you through and see what I've done the past month or two. Cool, let's take a look. Alrighty, let's have a look, see where I got up to. Okay, so what I ended with on the last one, so I did my sketchbook tour of everything at the start here, and then my last YouTube video after that was actually the progress and process of painting this one with gouache. So the last one was this portrait study thing I did. That was a lot of fun, playing with the purples, and that feels like a very long time ago since I did that one. But anyway, let's go through what I've done since then. I'm not sure. I think I'm nearly halfway through this sketchbook journal now, actually. Got all of this to get through. Cool, so let's begin. So we'll start with, okay. So my friend that I met at the Raw Showcase a few years ago now, she's a photographer, does a lot of wedding photography. She posted this photo of herself. She was looking for an umbrella and she didn't have one. And she took a photo of herself holding this leaf, and I just thought the composition of it was really cool, so I saved it and I painted it in here. So I used gouache. So that was cool, doing a person figure again. A lot smoother gradient with the shading and stuff rather than on that last portrait study I did. I really liked, because I knew the leaf was going to be green, I thought pink is such a nice pairing colour for it, for the background. I made the eyes green to match the leaf. I like using yellow for the highlights and purples for the shadows. Still very subtle, I don't go in too deep and dark with it though still. I think I still keep it quite light. Might be good for me to practice adding a bit more depth with those highlights and shadows though. But that was a fun one. I kept the hair quite plain. Keep it solid with just a few highlight streaks, but I don't really get too into detail with the hair, which I kind of like how that goes. So that one was fun, as they all are. As I'd mentioned before, I've been trying to go through reference photos that I've just saved forever and actually knock them out and get them down in the sketchbook. So this was one I had saved for a long time, a picture of this rainbow bird eater, which is obviously about to enjoy a dragonfly here. So this one I finally got down. I just outlined it with one of my micron pens, which was actually kind of half running out, so it came out super scratchy, and I really liked how that line work came out, but I kind of ended up going over it. I whipped out the watercolors again for this one, watercolors, and then I was layering more, and then I still wanted a lot more kind of definition, so I went back over with a black brush pen and went in deep with the lines. So that kind of covered up that micron line that I liked. Actually, the micron lines are still there in the tree trunk. That's about it. But I really liked that one too. Sometimes I can't get the depth I like with the watercolors, like the vibrancy of the colors, and maybe it's the opaqueness that I like a lot more with the gouache. But I think I get into heaps more detail with the watercolors. Like when I did my fish, I really liked how kind of fine and detailed the things like the scales and things that I put into it were, and that was all watercolor. So it just depends what I'm working with, how I paint with it. But I'm with this, and I added little gold dots in the background with just my gold pen. So it was just a fun one, good practice. Didn't want to practice with the tree trunk, I just wanted to practice like a gradient, like light to dark down, and then just adding lines. So I kind of really liked how I did that one, how I approached that as well. But the next one, actually, after that, and I posted it, I'm in a Facebook Australian birds group, and I saw the original photo of this posted because I'd lost where I got the reference from. And I was like, oh my goodness, and I went and found them on Instagram. I was like, I used your photo for a reference. So I found them, so that was good because they post a lot of beautiful photos. Okay, next. hot air balloon. I think I've had this hot air balloon reference photo saved for ages as well. And I had a lot of leftover colours left over from that rainbow bird eater on the page before. So I wanted to reuse all the blues and greens and yellows from that and make that the colours of the hot air balloon. If you saw on Instagram, I did a little reel talking about high quality gouache versus low quality gouache. So my low quality gouache that I started with was this, and I actually still like that colour, so I still use it sometimes, but I might mix it with like a high quality white gouache or something. But I started with those and they were really good to start with. But I used the Prussian blue colour for the top here, and then as I got further down I mixed it with Art Spectrum white gouache, and then I have a range of colours of Winsor Newton gouache. So I mixed that with the Art Spectrum, and as you get further down you can see that it gets heaps more opaque, not as streaky. So up the top you can see how streaky it was just using the cheap gouache, which I didn't mind leaving. I just thought I add a bit of character to the page and stuff. But as you get further down, that streakiness is gone as that Art Spectrum gouache is added, and you can see that just the quality is so much better. So it can make a difference, but when you're starting, like when I was just starting out with gouache, it just didn't really matter. I still have them, I can still use them, but I might mix them with something else. Cool. So that one was fun. I even actually layered on top. I did the gouache, and then the background's gouache and the hot air balloon is watercolour. So I done the base layer of the watercolour, and then I actually went over it with coloured pencils for like the shading and such. So with the shading in the basket as well. I really love the basket on this one. I thought that came out so nice. There's the little gold moon I added in with the stars. Used my blue gel pen for the stars. Yeah, I had a white gel pen that I was using to outline it all, but it's kind of running out, so it was really slow to get the ink going, so I need to go buy new ones of that. Yeah, that was fun to do. Good one to whip out the coloured pencils as well. Okay, next. Froggies. I remember when I did these froggies, I was meant to be working on something else, and I was like, I just want to paint some frogs. So I went on Unsplash and found a bunch of royalty-free photos that I could use as a reference. It's a really good reference point if you need to look for photos and inspo. Unsplash.com. Credit the artist where due. So if you're sharing, it's important to promote them as well. They're letting everyone use their photos royalty-free. It's good to give them a shout out. So I'd found all of these and I made a reel showing the reference photos and then my final piece. So anyway, I really enjoyed. This one was really fun. So this one's my favourite. This little blue one at the bottom. I love how the spots came out and all that. And then this one, I love this big green friend at the side just chilling out. I say that, but then I'll also say that I love this long friend at the top. I remember I was doing it, or you can see where I don't separate the pages and bits of blue from the other pages come over, but it's just my sketchbook, so I don't mind. You can see it up here as well, but that's okay. Yeah, and I mean, also, I like all of them, but you know, you get your little favorites from each of them. Some one's really cool. I remember I was busy that day. I was meant to be finishing something else off, and I just wanted to sit down and just relax and paint some froggies. And then that's what happened. So they came out cool. I was thinking if I should make them into stickers or something. So if you think stickers would be cool, let me know. Otherwise they'll just chill and hang out here in my sketchbook. Next page. So I found this photo of, I'm pretty sure it's like a famous castle in Edinburgh. I found a photo and I thought I really want to paint buildings again. I did one start of, was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. I painted a castle with like whales and stuff for like a baby shower gift, and I really enjoyed painting the castle in that, and I thought it's been so long and I've been wanting to paint more castles, and I thought I'm just gonna find a reference image and just use it as a rough base. Kind of changed it a lot. I knocked this one out. I was like, I want to make it pink. I was like, I'll make the bricks all pink. I love putting in those bricks. They're so relaxing. Just sit down and just knock out bricks, and then you can layer up the shadows by adding then darker bricks on the top. Where I added these burnt orangey reddy bricks. Use yellow for the shadows on that side. I was like, I'll add blue stars and a blue moon. So that was fun instead of like using the gold. And I tied it in with the windows in there, and then put stars all through the shrubbery as well. So that was really fun. For the background, that is gouache. Just really watered it down a lot and then made it bring in this texture as though there might be moody sky like clouds there. So it's good to play with gouache even if you water it down a lot almost then works as a watercolour, but you can still tell it's heavier than a watercolour when you water it down that much. Yeah, so that one was really fun. After that, David and I had gone to Melbourne for a competition for jiu-jitsu, came back, we're pretty run down, then turns out we'd ended up with COVID, so I was pretty wrecked. I was kind of too tired to do any painting, you know, you're just in bed all day, trying to sleep, you can't. But anyway, after a few days when I was just feeling a bit more up to it, I wanted to just go back to sketching and pull out my graphite pencil, and I got this photo of this clock tower that's in St Kilda in Melbourne, and I just thought, oh, it'd be really nice to paint that. So I hadn't painted it, I just thought it'd be really nice to sketch it out. So when I was feeling better, I sketched that out. I was thinking about whether I should go in and harder and deeper with the graphite pencil or layer it up with paint, but I just added a bit of paint background. That was like the leftover colour from this side, you can kind of see. But kind of left it as it is a sketch. So that was really fun, just sketching again as well. I'd done a sketch in the last sketchbook tour with the hand sketch, and even then it had been like 10 years since I'd just done a graphite drawing. So it was really nice to pull that out and do that again. I didn't do any shading or anything, but it was just really cool to practice the details and things like that. Still left out a lot of details. You know, you just adjust to what you want to do when you're painting it. It doesn't have to be just like the reference. So I'd done that one next, and then after that, so back to another building. So now I've done a few in a row. I wanted to pull out the gouache to paint another one. This was a reference photo I had saved for ages, this duplex building. Just kind of thought I'd work with kind of different colors though. What I really like with gouache is just the layering capabilities with it. So you can see the dark brown that's in between all the bricks. I actually painted the whole thing like in that dark brown color, and then just started going over the top with this color for the brick, and then going over with this goldeny color to match the window ledge in the bricks. So it's cool how you can lay like that. The roof was all dark navy, and then I laid the bricks over the top. So that was really fun. It's always fun then adding these trees at the end. I forgot how much I like trees. I remember when I did that in that piece earlier, that was of the photo I took at the local pub near us, and there was these old school looking lamps, and I painted a tree like that but with leaves. But anyway, that one was a lot of fun. I liked that. I don't even know what colour to call that background. It's like a sea mist kind of colour, I guess. That was cool. It's just, as I said before, it's so relaxing just doing bricks. I think I could just paint buildings over and over, so maybe I should paint more. Up next, another reference. So I've had this red Cardinal photo posted or saved on my phone for a really long time as well. And now as I paint them, I'm then just deleting them to clear them. So it's like ticking off something off your to-do list. So I went back to the style I did for the first tigers I did in my sketchbook, where I did with the brush line work for the outline, and then I went in with my Ecoline Inks. So I used magenta, the Viridian, and the light orange. So I used those, and then I went in with the black brush pen for details, white gel pen for highlights, and I also went in with my coloured brush pens as well, where I have like this nice maroon kind of coloured one. Add that in for more feather details. Before I started, I added a light wash over the top of the background, added this streakiness. Kind of splattered some, I think I splattered orange ink by accident at first, and I thought, oh, let's just splatter the whole background, shall we? Which I didn't cover this side, and you can see where it went over a little bit, but I don't care, it's just a sketchbook, it's not a big deal. By the time I realised I then covered it, but it's okay. So I really like how that came out too. More birdies. So that was a lot of fun. Really like how vibrant it is on top of that grey. It's like it's sitting out in the snow. Up next. So we have rose gardens nearby, and they're actually kind of closed off for now because they're revamping it up. They're like redoing the pool centre next door, and they've actually closed off the rose garden as well to do them up, spruce them up. So you can't walk through, but I have so many reference photos from when I used to walk through. And I thought I'm going to start using some, so kind of sketched a few out here. Do these at once, shall we? Because it's all. So I used 3. I was like, just put them all together. I really liked how those two ended up sitting next to each other. And then I just did the whole thing pink on this side, and then I started layering up over the top with Ecoline Inks mixed with white gouache, just so I could get that layering. And it was still seeming a little flat, so I went in with my navy blue brush pen and added outlines, and I think it just really tied it all together. So on this side, that's when I practiced doing the navy on the background. So I thought it can balance out, match the line work on this side, and just to play around. I think I was asking people which one they preferred. I think I do like the pink better. I think the pink ties in with the pink and the flower, and it's just not so dark, but maybe it has to do with the composition of the roses, because I really like how these two sit on the page, and this is just like a big rose almost like in the corner. So got different things, but I really like how that ties in with the line work. So I guess they're just different. You can let me know what you prefer as well. Next, my bunnies. So I'd started thinking about animation and things like that, maybe wanting to practice doing some animation work on the computer, and I thought, well, I'm just going to get a bunny and just paint 2 different positions of it just to kind of practice, you know. So I was like, I'll do the bunny mid landing, get ready for the next hop, and then in the middle of the hop. So I've been posting all the process videos of these on my reels on Instagram, and I think a lot of you guys have been really enjoying it. So that's really cool. Someone suggested to add yellow highlights when I add the highlights on the bunny. So I really liked that idea. Thank you so much. So you can see I've added it in with the white. I think it ties in really well with the blue. And then in the darker spots, I pulled in some of the purple from the background into that too, and into the eye. So that was really cool. I've posted to finish that one off on Instagram now. And then I'm in the middle of just sharing the process of this one. So it is finished. But if you're on here watching YouTube, you can see that it is already done. So they were really fun. I really enjoyed doing that, much like the bunnies I shared in the last sketchbook tour. I really enjoyed painting those, so it was nice to do some more. And with Easter coming up, it was nice to do bunnies on theme. So I was thinking maybe I might make these 2 as little postcard prints. If anyone would be interested, they'd be really cheap. So I'll just see, maybe stickers. But I think in time for Easter it's a bit late, but you know, it doesn't have to just be Easter. But I'll just see how I go. Anyway, I think that's the end. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I'm actually working on a nice special commission at the moment. So I think I'm halfway through this sketchbook now, a bit over halfway. Thanks so much for tuning in. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're watching along for this sketchbook tour, I hope you're really enjoying what I'm showing through here. I've never kept just like a sketchbook and just like worked at every single page, so it'll be so exciting when I actually finish it and get towards the end. But I like showing like an update every now and then of what I'm working on. If you have any suggestions on what I should add into here, let me know and I'll write it down. I'll add them in. They'll be really fun. Otherwise, I'll just keep knocking out my reference photos that I just save forever. I'm trying not to save anymore until I just get through what I have. Cool. Thanks so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.